Obviously, turnovers were a big issue in the game. Down the stretch, I get you stopped turning the ball over.
Yeah, I mean, what did we end up with? 22 turnovers. I mean, they're one of the best in the league at turning people over. They've been particularly effective against us. Noel is so active on all of his plays defensively. I don't know how many steals he had, but it felt like he had a ton. And, ultimately I thought like McConnell was really into the ball. They make it tough on us to execute. And if you don't drive the ball and get a paint touch, you're probably going to struggle against those guys. We were fortunate enough to score or shoot it well enough to be in the game. And then we played better defense in the second half.
Coach, obviously Isaiah in the fourth quarter, but you talk a lot about him reading and making the right basketball play. Was this what he did tonight? He was missing from outside, and he took the ball to the basket.
Yeah, he had to take the ball to the basket, and he made the right kickouts. I mean, those kickouts to the opposite corner and opposite wing, when Noel, again, is flying at you, or what you got to do. And I thought he did a good job. I thought Smart was fantastic. I thought Smart has really strung a bunch of games together here, but made big shots, made timely shots, but then defensively was terrific.
Speaking of Marcus, is there a way to the numbers tonight talked about what kind of a game he had, but it seems like he's taken a giant step forward.
He's moved. I think the last couple of weeks have been some of his best basketball, and we needed it. We're down a couple of bodies, and he is playing at a high level on both ends of the floor.
Is that just a case where things all of a sudden start coming together for a guy? The pieces of his game start fitting.
Yeah, that might be. I mean, I think the ankle sprain at the start of the year was kind of an unfortunate kickoff to the year. It set you back a little bit, and then in the last few weeks, I just think like he's really found a rhythm and a groove, and it started on the defensive end with guarding at a really high level. I think he's guarding even better than he did at the start of the year, and he's been good. We need him to. Again, we're with down Jalen and down Avery. You gotta have those perimeter defenders step up for you.
Brad, Isaiah tied Havlicek's mark for this 40th consecutive 20-point game. Just how valuable has his consistency been this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's when you're getting 20-plus points from a guy on a given night, it's a pretty special trait. It's pretty special to know that. He's been amazing with his consistency, regardless of how he feels, regardless of little nicks and bruises and everything else. He just kind of keeps going, and he's a tough guy. He's a tough-minded guy, and his consistency's been impressive. And I think consistency and being able to do it every night is what separates, right, the guys that obviously you mentioned Havlicek, but the great ones.
Brad, did you expect tonight to be kind of ragged?
Yep.
Thank you. How do you?
I told our guys to stay on Central Time, and we started about an hour late. Started playing about an hour late.
How do you, when you know it's going to be ragged and you know the guys are going to be making mistakes, do you approach it differently?
No, I mean
demeanor-wise than if it was the guys are fresh.
No, obviously you could feel in the first three possessions that it wasn't going to be all that crisp right out of the gate. You're hopeful that the next three aren't as bad as they were, but after that, we settled down on offense. We didn't guard until the third quarter, but you have to grind some out. You have to figure out a way to get some, and I really did tell a couple of those guys, the best thing for your body clock is stay on Central Time, because like we were in Dallas for 3 days. We had gradually made our way back east. We're going right back to Chicago tonight, and so it made total sense. I think that it's just the way it goes, and you get ready for each game, you put everything into it, and then you figure it out, figure out a way to be successful, and you move on.
And Carmelo Anthony was named to the All-Star team.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know
To
that.
replace Kevin Love, so you'll be coaching LeBron and Butler and Carmelo. Is that? I mean, how do you approach that assignment when you've got basically some of the world's best players in your locker room for a couple of days?
I mean, that game is for the players. You know, coaches get a good seat. That's the way I look at it.
James Young played some big minutes down the stretch. What did you think of his game tonight, and what did he do to earn those minutes?
Well, we had to. I felt like when we were double bigs, it was hard for us to guard Saric with the way he was driving the ball. They were gonna go small late or have him at the 4, so we wanted to get Jay Crowder matched up on him. So it was a matter of who I felt like was playing best from our other perimeters off the bench. And with James's length and with what he did in the third quarter, I felt like he was the best option.
Coach, you mentioned that you believe Marcus is playing even better defense now than he did at the beginning of the season, which is really saying something. In what areas is he taking it to even a higher level than he had been at the start of the season?
Well, I just think he looks like he's obviously always been able to guard a number of positions, but I think he's able to do it longer. I think he's really been really consistent defensively here in this stretch.
Brad, with it being 61-61 at halftime, and you even said that you really didn't start guarding until second half, curious to get your read on whether or not at this point of the season you think about the way you guys are playing will translate to the playoffs, or how it would.
We guarded really well the last 8 or 9 games. So I'm not going to get too bent out of shape about a half. I feel like structurally we're in much better shape in how we're playing. I think when we get healthy, I think we'll be better defensively. But I also realize that you can't play that way and expect to win. We shot it well enough to keep ourselves in the game, and but obviously you can't have halves like that very often.